I see Archangel Michael.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Is he telling you something?
He's waving to me to come and follow him.
Mm-hmm. Would you like to follow him?
Yeah, I'm going to follow him.
Wonderful.
He's turning and walking away from me now, and I'm following him.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so follow him and tell me what's happening.
It's like yeah, he's just like opened like a portal, and
Mm-hmm.
he's waving me to come in with him.
Okay, go with him now.
So I'm right by his side, and he's got his hand on my back,
Mm-hmm.
and we're walking in.
Mm-hmm. So tell me what's inside the portal.
We're back home in heaven.
Wonderful. Could you describe the heaven?
I see fields of wildflowers and grass,
Mm-hmm.
and this big, beautiful tree.
Mm-hmm.
And on the edge of this field is a cottage. And I know that that's my home.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I stay a lot of the time. It's like peaceful and tranquil.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to go inside?
I'm looking up at Archangel Michael.
Mm-hmm.
He says he just wants me to look at the outside of it.
Okay.
And now we're walking to the left. He has his hand around my shoulder, and he said, "This is home.
Mm-hmm.
This is home."
I would like you to remember that this is home, where you're just now. That's your home.
There's like a forest, and I see others stepping forward out of the trees, and they're walking towards us.
Mm-hmm. Who are they?
I see them. I see my Nana and my
Mm-hmm.
grandpa and my Aunt Margaret
Mm-hmm.
and my Grandpa Harry and my Grammy. And then it's just my great-grandfather, my great-grandmother, all of my relatives that I've had from this lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all walking towards me, and they have big smiles on their faces.
Mm-hmm. Are they happy to see you?
Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
wonderful. Wonderful.
Breathe in that beautiful energy and emotion.
I just feel exhilaration,
Mm-hmm.
contentment, and just joy.
Wonderful. Do they have a message for you?
My Nana and Grandpa are hugging me
Mm-hmm.
and kissing me on the cheek. Oh my God, it's like my heart is just going to burst. They're saying, "Welcome home,"
Mm-hmm.
even if for a short while.
Mm-hmm. Do they look like when they died or when they were younger?
They look like when I first remember seeing them as a child, so I would say in their 50s.
Mm-hmm.
but they're just emanating this beautiful white light. So
Mm-hmm.
beautiful.
You can breathe in that beautiful white light.
So it's just so incredible.
Mm-hmm.
When I see their eyes, they're just so, how do I explain that? Such depth
Mm-hmm.
of love that no words can explain or describe.
Remember that you can ask them anything while you're there.
They're telling me that I'm doing a wonderful job here on Earth, and they're watching me often. And now we all have our heads together,
Mm-hmm.
just enjoying that moment. And now my Nana's telling me that she's getting ready to come and help me here.
In what way will she come?
In conjunction with my divine team,
Mm-hmm.
similar or like a spirit guide,
Mm-hmm.
but she'll be closer, helping me.
Wonderful.
Telling me that I need her direct, blunt way of doing things in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking her why. Because there's times where I need someone to help me. How was she explaining that? I need someone who's going to be blunt and direct and have that. I need that extra strength in this lifetime
Mm-hmm.
to hold my back straight and to walk tall,
Mm-hmm.
to walk this path. She says I'm good at not caring too much about what others think of me, but there will be moments where I'll be needing her extra strength.
Mm-hmm.
And she says she's really good at this.
Yeah, and she's going to help you.
And we've done this before. We have a close connection. She calls me more of the softer touch, and she's more of the firm pat.
Mm-hmm.
Or touch. And we do this in many lifetimes together.
Many lifetimes on Earth or somewhere else?
Earth.
Earth. Mm-hmm. Would you like to ask her more? Would she like to tell you something else?
She's just telling me that she loves me.
Mm-hmm.
And that this is but the beginning
Mm-hmm.
of so much more yet to come within this lifetime, within my lifetime, and upon the earth for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
The mission is, or purpose is a great one this time around.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why she's stepping forward and being the extra strength I'll need in this lifetime.
Wonderful.
Archangel Michael's put his hand on my upper back. He's telling me that it's time to go, dear one.
Mm-hmm.
My Nana's kissing me on the cheek, and I'm hugging them.
Wonderful.
I feel okay going with Archangel Michael because I know I'm going to come back home.
Mm-hmm.
And then I feel like Archangel Michael's always with me. I've asked him to always be with me, to help me through each of these lifetimes. And he says, and in any time that any moment I need him, he's always there for me.
Wonderful.
We're walking through the tall grass with the flowers, and I'm reaching down and just touching the flowers on my fingertips as we walk.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm savoring this moment. I'm trying to drag it out as long as I can.
Mm-hmm. Remember that moment.
He's telling me it's going to be okay because I'm going to come back.
Mm-hmm. Were you worried that you were not going back?
No, it's just I don't want to leave.
Mm-hmm.
I never want to leave. But I know I have to. Because it's not just about me. It's about everyone else.
Yes.
We all go and do this together. And that brings me peace.
And I would like you to remember that you can always go home, being here on earth, whenever you feel you need that sensation. You can always be there whenever you want.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Is there anything else Archangel Michael or someone else would like to tell you before we continue this journey?
He's saying no.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so now you're going back through that portal. Tell me, what do you see?
I see a lot of green vegetation.
Mm-hmm. Is that vegetation familiar to you?
Very familiar.
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of blue.
Mm-hmm. So what's blue?
The energy coming from the planet is blue.
Mm-hmm.
The water,
Mm-hmm.
the energy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so do you have a body there?
They tell me I'm visiting temporarily.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
They're saying I can have a body if I'd like.
but at this moment, is there a body or you're in like an energy form?
Any energy form.
Wonderful. Since you're energy, you have the knowing what dimension that is.
It's much higher.
You will have the number.
7.
Seventh dimension, wonderful.
It's very peaceful.
So tell me, are you alone?
Nope. I've got someone stepping forward, letting me know that they are greeting me, and they're shaking my hand, and they're smiling, and they're saying, that's how you do it on Earth, isn't it?
So now you have a body.
No, I still don't feel like I have a body.
Okay, so there is a magical mirror in front of you, and you can see if you have a body.
No.
You don't have a body.
Just a light form.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in my pure light form.
Mm-hmm.
The eyes of this, it's just amazing. It looks like what I've seen with pictures of Pleiadian.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure if this is a male or female yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's a male.
Okay, it's a male. So you're a male energy.
He who is greeting me is a male.
Ah. Mm-hmm.
And he's teasing me like I should know if he's a male or not.
Mm-hmm. So let's ask him, is he
No,
playing a role in this lifetime for you as Kristin?
not in this lifetime.
Not in this lifetime,
Not
okay.
in many other lifetimes.
Mm-hmm.
His eyes are incredible.
When you see his eyes, they look familiar to you?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And just like eternal peace and most incredible blue eyes. Like they're glowing.
Mm-hmm.
This beautiful blue.
Ask him, are you Pleiadians?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And he points at me and he says, and so were you once, many times.
Mm-hmm. So you are not a Pleiadian in that lifetime?
I feel like I'm visiting.
Mm-hmm. So
But
let's
I
ask,
can
what kind of energy you are? What kind of being?
like I'm in my energy body and I'm visiting them.
Do you feel like you're visiting from the spirit world?
Yeah.
Or
Like
or you live in a material world just without a body?
I'm just visiting from the spirit world.
Wonderful.
And he can see me. He's telling me to come with him.
Okay.
He's walking and I'm floating. He's talking to me and we're going side by side and he's looking over at me. He's quite tall. I'm asking him, how tall are you? Almost 8 feet tall.
Wow.
He's got long blonde hair. He tells me he's one of my soulmates.
Mm-hmm.
We've had many incarnations together. He's come to visit me in this lifetime in his energy form from the spirit world.
Mm-hmm. So is he one of your guides?
Yes, he is my spirit guide, my soulmate, Adrian, and I'm visiting him as a Pleiadian in a body in this lifetime that he is currently in.
Maybe he would like to show you something special in that lifetime. Would you like to see that?
I would.
Okay, so let's see what he has to show you.
He's just reaching his hands straight out and saying, look over here. It's like we're at the top of a ridge and we're looking out, and it's just like this majestic view with like beautiful trees and like waterfalls. Oh, he says, this is why you love living where you do right now. And this is why you enjoy living, visiting Hawaii.
So it's similar.
Similar, very similar. Magical. Oh,
Okay.
I see little fairies. And like, he's calling them little tree spirits.
Oh, that's nice.
Beautiful. Everything's glowing like beautiful, like blue or like translucent, beautiful white, like a crystalline white. And they're all flitting around and having fun, very high vibrational. He's leaning down and he's hugging me. Like a very deep, warm hug.
Feel that connection in your beingness. And remember that moment.
It's like I can feel his vibrational frequency throughout my entire body.
Okay, so now we have to investigate something. You said you felt like that was 7th dimension. When you said it was 7th dimension, did you mean your energy is from 7th dimension, or this Pleiadian world is in 7th dimension, or both?
He is a 7th dimensional being. And he's telling me that he can be in a physical form and into an energy form, whichever he chooses in the moment. There are other beings here on this planet who are even higher vibrational frequency than himself. And he's turning to me and saying that I started anew here on Earth in an attempt to raise my vibrational frequency, to learn again, to be aware, to be present of my vibrational frequency.
Wonderful.
In amidst a lower vibrational, more dense environment to house the light, to raise my vibrational frequency. And my goal over many lifetimes will be to maintain a fifth dimensional frequency. And he says it's...
Will you be able to stay in fifth dimension during this lifetime?
Yeah. He's saying no. He's saying even when you reach the fifth dimensional frequency, it is about maintaining it. And events that will occur in your life may sway you from holding that vibration. So you'll get there, and then you may drop a bit, and then you'll come back into it, and then you may come out of it. And so it will be in and out. And over lifetimes, oh, this is when I will be tested. I'm going to be tested by another. I'm going to be tested often. And I chose this for myself. No one made me choose this. I chose this. I'm choosing this path ahead in these lifetimes to come, where I am purposely pairing up with another who is going to test me repeatedly. I'm really not, there's a part of me I'm not looking forward to it, but I know it's important, and I've chosen this for myself. For when I'm tested, I will have to hold my vibrational frequency. It's like being in the calm inside the eye of a storm that's around me. I can be in the storm, or I can be in the eye of the storm. This person's going to be, this other being is going to be as difficult as it will be. This person is also doing an act of service for me. This person is a catalyst.
So that person is a human?
Yes. And this soulmate, as a Pleiadian, is telling me he knows it's going to be difficult for me at times, but he knows I'm up for the challenge.
Yeah.
Because that's what I do.
Exactly.
I thrive, he says. I thrive in the midst of seeming chaos and denser vibrational frequency. Once I get my footing, there's nothing that can sway me. But as I am redoing this again on Earth and ascending and raising my vibrational frequency again, I need someone there to test me so that it reaffirms my footing to hold steady in the eye of the storm, to hold my vibrational frequency, even when those around me are lower in vibration.
Okay.
That is all.
So you can ask him now, was he from the beginning in that dimension, or he ascended into seventh dimension?
He says that he has gone through the ascension process as a Pleiadian,
Mm-hmm.
and now he is helping me as my spirit guide, as my soulmate in my soul group, as part of my team on the other side,
Mm-hmm.
and goes by the name of Adrian, to help me as I go through my second ascension on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
This is my
And first
second
being in
time.
on Pleiadian planets.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
with him
Mm-hmm.
many times. We have
Was that on planet Era or some other Pleiadian planet?
He's saying some other Pleiadian planet.
Mm-hmm. Was that on a planet where Pleiadians and fairies live together?
Yes, he has.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful.
He's showing it to me like it's a smaller planet,
Mm-hmm.
and it just glows this beautiful blue.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Like when you see it from outer space, it's just so beautiful.
Mm-hmm. And are there other intelligent beings except for Pleiadians and fairies? Like other extraterrestrials, ETs, aliens?
It's Pleiadians and fairies and tree spirits.
Mm-hmm.
He's smiling at me. He says that's why I am connected with the trees here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful.
It's very high vibration.
Okay. I would like you to remember this experience. You can breathe in everything on that planet, and you can remember the smell and the energy and colors and emotions, everything.
It's beautiful here.
Mm-hmm. What do you see?
What do I feel?
Mm-hmm. What do you feel?
I'm not happy to be here, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I know I have to be here.
Mm-hmm.
It's very heavy, very heavy.
What dimension is that?
3.
Mm-hmm.
3.
So there is a magical mirror in front of you, and you can see your body.
Yeah, I'm a female.
Mm-hmm. You're a woman.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Could you describe your appearance?
I look like I'm in my 20s.
Hmm.
I look like I'm tired.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like I don't want to be here. I'm coping with. I feel like I'm taking drugs, and I'm coping by taking drugs
Mm-hmm.
to numb myself,
Mm-hmm.
because I really don't want to be here.
Tell me, what about your hair?
It's like it's like in dreads.
Mm-hmm. What about the color of your skin?
I'm white.
White. Mm-hmm.
And the dreads are down to my like middle of my back, and they look kind of like slightly bleached on the ends a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I look tired.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What do you see in front of you? What's your surrounding look like?
A lot of cement.
Mm-hmm.
City.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like I roam around here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for my next hit.
Mm-hmm. Are you homeless?
I sure feel homeless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm homeless.
Mm-hmm.
I have certain spots that I go to where I feel like I'm getting some shelter. I don't like where I am in that life. I don't like where I am.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like this feeling of where I am, but I don't, I'm coping with being on earth by doing drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm stuck doing the drugs.
Okay, so tell me, what year comes to mind?
I'm looking down at myself and I look like I'm wearing clothing that would be like in the 60s.
Mm-hmm. You can
Uh,
ask and you will receive the number, the year.
what year is this?
So it's 1960,
1962.
1962.
A lot of
Mm-hmm.
polyester, and I'm being told this is why I don't like polyester in this lifetime. I won't
Mm-hmm.
wear it. So I feel like I can't breathe as much and it's itchy, scratchy a little bit because I wore a lot of it in that lifetime. It's
Mm-hmm.
uncomfortable.
So are you alone there, or there are some other people with you?
Most of the time I'm alone.
What about now in this moment?
Mm, I have other like friends that do drugs that I hang out with once in a while to do drugs with, but I don't spend a lot of time with them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now you're going to focus and you will have the knowing when I ask questions. If I ask, do you have a partner or husband? What comes to mind?
No,
No. Do you have children?
no,
Do you have parents?
I'm not. I'm not connected with them.
But they are alive?
Yes,
And you can know if your parents in that lifetime are someone in this lifetime.
yes,
Who are they?
my mother.
And who is your mother in that lifetime?
Mm.
Or you meant your mother from that lifetime is someone in this lifetime?
That mother in that lifetime is my mother in this lifetime.
Oh, I understand. And what about your father in that lifetime?
Yeah, it looks like my father too.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we did it in that lifetime and then we came back and did it again in this lifetime.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I didn't live a very long time.
Mm-hmm. Okay, slow down. So now I will ask you to go into the past of that lifetime to find out what happened, what triggered this behavior. When did you start using drugs? And you are there now.
Just nobody cared.
Mm-hmm.
Emotionally void parents, similar or like in this lifetime. Although my mother, she actually has done a better job in this lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
My father left in this lifetime. So he played out a role for me in this lifetime by leaving. So I'm learning abandonment in this lifetime. In that lifetime, nobody cared, so why should I care?
Mm-hmm. And how old are you now when you have those thoughts? I'm going to start using drugs.
Like 15.
15. Mm-hmm. Tell me, did you ever have an abortion in that lifetime?
No,
No?
I'm being shown I didn't make it past 20.
Mm-hmm.
It was a short lifetime.
But let's investigate. Did maybe your mom have a miscarriage or something like that?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Mm-hmm. And now you can ask your guidance and you'll have the answer. Was that child, is that child someone special in this lifetime?
Um, it's the same soul as my sister's in this lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
She had more than one miscarriage in that lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
2.
Mm-hmm.
And then my mother had all 3 of us in this lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were meant to in that lifetime, but it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now I would like you to go to visit the last day of that lifetime and tell me what's happening.
I don't feel good.
Mm-hmm. What's wrong?
Mm, I've used too much drugs.
Mm-hmm.
My body's tired.
Mm-hmm.
It's like my will to live is waning. And I know I just don't want to be here much longer.
Mm. So it's an overdose.
Yes,
Mm-hmm. Was that on purpose or by an accident?
on purpose.
On purpose. Mm-hmm. So you killed yourself.
Yes, and
Mm-hmm.
I've done that a few times in lifetimes here.
You will focus on this lifetime for the moment.
Okay.
And now you can leave that body, but before crossing over, I will ask you a couple of questions. So now that you're free of that body, how do you feel now?
I feel wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
I feel free.
Mm-hmm. Are there any regrets or
Nope,
guilt? No.
no,
Mm-hmm.
none.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out of here.
Mm-hmm. Do you get any name? What was your name in that lifetime?
I'm getting my name was Sarah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so when I say Sarah, does that resonate?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And where did you live?
Feels like a dense, like lower vibrational, large city.
Mm-hmm. What country?
United States.
Mm-hmm. Do you know what state?
Um, California.
California. Mm-hmm.
It looks like I think it's San Diego
Mm-hmm. San Diego. Mm-hmm.
or San Francisco, or I traveled between the two.
Mm-hmm. Okay, when I ask where were you born, what comes to mind first?
San Francisco.
San Francisco. Okay. Okay, before you cross over, I would like, if you would like, to release the pain from that lifetime. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
Okay, so let's call upon your angels. They're surrounding you now, and you can give them that feeling, that pain,
Yes.
and tell them into what you would like them to transmute that energy,
Yes, please.
into what emotion. What would you like to feel instead of that pain?
Peace.
Peace. Okay, so your angels are now transmuting that dark energy, dark emotion into peace, and you can receive that in a form of a white light, and you can breathe in that beautiful, beautiful light. And tell me, how do you feel now?
Much better.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful.
Much lighter.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Okay, Sarah, now you may cross over and tell me when you're back to heaven.
Oh my God, I'm so happy to be here.
Mm-hmm. Enjoy for a couple of seconds there. Breathe in the beautiful energy and emotion.
Loved ones are coming forward.
Mm-hmm. So now that you're there, you know what was the lesson in that lifetime. What was your mission?
Right now, I'm just basking in this white light. It's just incredible.
Mm-hmm.
What is my, like, I'm so joyous.
Mm-hmm.
What was my lesson with this lifetime?
Mm-hmm.
How to cope in amongst the dense vibrational frequency of Earth.
Mm.
But I didn't do too good.
So you didn't learn your lesson.
I coped in the wrong ways by doing the drugs.
Mm-hmm. But since we released that energy, we transform that emotion.
Yeah.
That's done.
Yes.
And I would like to ask, in a linear perspective, was that your previous lifetime before coming to this lifetime?
For showing me that in truth it's all happening at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
just before this lifetime.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Wonderful.
I wasn't allowed to stay for too long, and then I come
Mm-hmm.
back.
Mm-hmm.
I chose this. I chose this.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna do it right this time.
Okay, tell me, what do you experience?
There's no construction of buildings.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a lot of nature,
Mm-hmm.
greenery. I feel like I'm in Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
It's very green. It's open. Or somewhere that looks like Ireland.
Okay, so now I will ask, is this Ireland?
No.
No. Mm-hmm. What country?
The USA,
USA. Mm-hmm.
but it's not in modern times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But what state would that be today, present day?
New York.
New York. Mm-hmm. And what year comes to mind?
It's I see 1600s.
Mm-hmm. So it's 16.
I feel like I have abilities.
Mm-hmm.
I'm able to connect with spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Others would maybe call me like a witch, or
Mm-hmm.
like a person that is able to connect.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so tell me, you're a woman there?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. What name comes to mind?
Seraphine.
Seraphim? Mm-hmm. So when I call you Seraphim, does it resonate?
It'll be uh, Seraphine.
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 Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, Seraphine. So tell me, what are your abilities? How can you connect with spirit?
I was born like this.
Mm-hmm.
I openly communicate with those on the other side.
Mm.
I can see, hear, spirit.
Do you communicate only with spirit or with other beings that are not on earth?
Uh, Loved ones that have crossed over,
Mm-hmm.
and my angelic team, my angels,
Mm-hmm.
and with God.
Mm-hmm.
And I see myself, having a bowl, and I'm crushing like herbs and plants
Mm-hmm.
to make like poultries.
Mm-hmm.
I make certain things to help other women with birth control,
Mm-hmm.
bladder infections, yeast infections,
Mm-hmm.
and anything else that they need that they need for their womanly needs.
Mm-hmm. So you're like a medicine woman.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So you're a healer and a channeler.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. So how do people react on your abilities? Do they appreciate your abilities?
They're unsure, they're uncertain,
Mm-hmm.
but they also know that I am able to help them.
Mm-hmm.
So they leave me on my own. I live on the outskirts, and they come to me when they need me.
Mm-hmm. So tell me, what is your skin color?
White.
White. So you're basically a newcomer. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Are you the first generation, second, third? What comes to mind?
First.
First. Okay. So tell me, Seraphine, do you have a family, husband, children?
No.
No. What about siblings?
No.
Are your parents alive?
No.
Okay, so now I would like you to go further into the future of the same lifetime when something very important is happening and you are there now. Tell me what's happening.
They've brought someone to me that has severe injury to their body, and it's nighttime, and there's a fire going, and this man is laying there, and he has an injury. It looks like a puncture wound, and I'm cleaning it, and I'm putting some, I'm placing some poultice into it, like I've made with herbs and I've made it into a paste, and I'm placing it in there. Poultice. And now I'm wrapping his abdomen with cloth. He makes it. He makes it. He survives.
He survives.
Because of
Wonderful.
me.
Okay, let's investigate. Who is that man to you?
No one that I would deem as special. It's just
He's just a patient.
Yes.
And now let's see. Is he someone in your lifetime as Kristin?
No.
No. Let's ask him. What happened to him?
The Native Americans shot him with a bow and arrow. Very, like very tumultuous times with the natives there. But it doesn't, like, the natives don't bother me.
Is that maybe because you're similar to them in what you do and how you're connected with spirit?
Yes. Yes. And they come to me at times for help. And I learn from them as well, just from time to time. They admire me.
Wonderful. So you are not making difference between white people and the native people. It's
Yes,
all,
that's right.
you're there to help everyone.
Yes.
Wonderful. Tell me, Seraphine, do you have any special connection with Jesus in that lifetime?
No.
No? What about Archangel Michael?
He's always there with me. Always there. Wherever I go, he's there with me. And we work together to help others.
Okay, now I would like you to find the place and time in that lifetime when someone from this lifetime is with you. So someone who's familiar to you as Kristin in this lifetime has a lifetime there with you, and let's investigate who that is.
It's my mother from this lifetime,
Mm-hmm.
and she's like one of the villagers.
Mm-hmm.
I know of her, but she's a male in that lifetime.
Uh-huh. Okay.
This person keeps to himself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't speak with him as all too often.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So now I would like you to go to the last day of that lifetime and tell me what's happening.
I'm tired
Mm-hmm.
and I'm really cold and I'm quite old
Mm-hmm.
and I'm hungry. But it doesn't seem to matter how much I eat. I seem to not keep the weight on.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I'm ready to go.
Is there someone with you or you're alone?
Archangel Michael is with
Mm-hmm.
me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now you can leave that body. And before you cross over, tell me, what was the lesson in that lifetime?
To help others
Mm-hmm.
by way of helping them heal
Mm-hmm.
physically and spiritually.
Mm-hmm. And were you successful?
Yes,
Wonderful.
yes. I feel very proud of myself.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Okay, so now you may cross over. You're back to heaven. And this time, I would like you to connect with your higher self. I will count from 1 to 3, and then you will be fully and completely connected with your higher self. Remembrance. 1, 2, 3. Remembrance, higher self, may I speak with you today?
Yes.
Thank you. So, higher self, you showed us several Kristin's lifetimes. Could you please tell us, in that first lifetime, Kristin was a blue energy on a Pleiadian planet in 7th dimension, where she had a special relation with this Pleiadian male, who will eventually become her guide and their soulmates. And can you please tell us, why was that lifetime so important to be shown to Kristin today?
To show her the good times,
Mm-hmm.
the good experiences on another planet
Mm-hmm.
as a Pleiadian.
Wonderful.
Many lifetimes as a Pleiadian.
Mm-hmm. So tell me, we know that she was an energy in that lifetime. Did she ascend to become that energy? We know she came from the spirit. That's what she told us. She came from spirit. But is that just after her ascension as Pleiadian?
After.
Or after? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Uh, Many lifetimes leading up to ascending and ascension, and then her lifetimes were complete as a Pleiadian.
Mm-hmm.
And this prepared her for what was to come here on Earth.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful.
In ascension, ascending.
Mm-hmm. So tell me about this second lifetime you showed us when she overdosed and died. That was a very difficult lifetime.
Yes,
So she needed to learn how to cope with dense vibration. Is that correct?
yes,
Mm-hmm. And she was not very successful.
this is correct.
Mm-hmm.
The,
Was that predestined not to be successful?
it was of her free will
Mm-hmm.
choosing.
Mm-hmm. Tell me, Renemorance, did we heal that emotion from that lifetime?
Yes,
Thank you. And now we have this third lifetime you showed us when she was living as a medicine woman, and she learned her lesson. And this lifetime is pretty similar to this lifetime. Would you like to tell us something more about the connection between that lifetime and this lifetime?
it prepared her for this lifetime,
Mm-hmm.
how others may view her,
Mm-hmm.
treat her, though in this lifetime, in this day of age, those on the planet now are seeking answers, seeking the truth,
Mm-hmm.
and more open and accepting of those who are different
Mm-hmm.
or who may have knowledge in which they cannot understand where it comes from. Many more will be attaining this knowledge in this lifetime.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Now Kristin has some questions. Would
Yeah,
you be willing to answer to those questions?
yes.
Thank you. Would you explain what's happening in that house when Kristin heard that drumming and dancing above her and around her and people talking to her right ear, and she felt she was observed? Could you please tell us something about that situation?
A native man soul came to visit her.
Mm-hmm.
He was familiar with her vibrational frequency as she has incarnated in the past as a native person, and he felt a similarity or a connection with her, a familiarity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that energy didn't want to harm her.
Oh no, no.
It was nice energy. Mhm.
Yes,
Wonderful.
yes, visiting.
Wonderful. Is he going to visit her again during this lifetime?
No, he was celebrating,
Mm-hmm.
dancing and drumming and communicating
Mm-hmm.
in celebration.
Wonderful. Okay, so we have this situation with the knife in the abdomen, and we would like to know if there was a karmic relation. Did you choose that problem? Is she meant to learn to grow through these problems with abdomen area?
Yes,
You have chosen that for her.
yes.
Mm-hmm. Can you please tell us something about that?
Some souls choose to incarnate learning and growing from a certain experience repeating over and over in each lifetime, or ailment in the same area, or an area of the body that is affected over and over again in each lifetime by way of trauma, stabbing in the abdomen, digestive disorder, disease, ailment. These are all predetermined before coming forth into this experience or experiences. And this is what has been chosen for this lifetime with ulcerative colitis, to learn and grow from this ailment. This was predetermined within and written in the contract, signed before coming forth.
Now, Remembrance, tell me please, is the situation that higher self always chooses our lifetimes? What their aspects are going to live? Or a soul sometimes has a free will to choose? Or it's always higher self choosing?
Higher self.
Higher self.
Choosing.
Can you please tell me, Remembrance, where are you now? In what dimension are you now?
At home with God.
Home with God. Wonderful. Some people say that even in spirit world there are dimensions. So I thought maybe you're in some special dimension in the spirit world.
Resting while I am incarnating in many bodies, all at once in the same moment.
Do you have an incarnation in this lifetime of Kristin on the planet Earth?
Yes.
Can you tell us something about that person?
Twin flame.
Twin flame. Does Kristin know that person?
No, not yet.
But she will meet him. Is it a man or a woman?
Man.
Man. They will meet?
Yes, very soon.
Wonderful.
He lives on this island.
Wonderful. Will she recognize him when he comes?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Wonderful.
Vibrationally. Energetically. This will be a joyous time.
That's nice. Okay, so Kristin would like to know how many lifetimes has she had? She had this number about or over 1,000. So if you could please tell her the number of lifetimes on Earth and in general.
Approximately 1,600 lifetimes.
In general.
Yes.
What about on Earth?
Approximately 1,000.
1,000. Thank you. Kristin asked, is it true that she will have 2 more karmic lifetimes on this planet?
Yes. 2 more. Then she comes of her, then I come of my own free will, without karma.
Wonderful. So what will happen after that?
I come to help raise the vibrational frequency here, alongside Jesus. Jesus' soul.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Did Kristin have incarnations with Jesus or his soul?
Not here on earth.
Mm-hmm. But somewhere else, right?
As a Pleiadian.
As a Pleiadian. How many lifetimes did they have together as Pleiadians?
35.
35. Mm-hmm. And she would like to know, did Jesus, have he chosen her for this mission?
No.
Mm-hmm. So what happened? How was this relation established?
We know each other very well in spirit, in heaven or
Mm-hmm.
home.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked to be here to help him
Mm-hmm.
and to walk upon his path,
Mm-hmm.
the Christ consciousness path,
Mm-hmm.
the ascended master path. This is the path in which I wish to walk.
Mm-hmm. So it was you wanting this experience.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Because she was asking why me? Why me? But now we know that it was her who wanted this. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Now, when we're talking about Jesus, before we started this session, I had a thought. Someone put the word vanishing related to Jesus in my mind. Could you please tell us something about that?
When Jesus no longer needs to fulfill the requirements of what is needed upon him, what is requested of him, and what is needed of him, he will reabsorb back into source. And those of us who walk this path, the Christ consciousness path, the ascended master path, will take his place and a similar or like role in helping others, other souls, younger souls, until it is our time to rejoin back into source, light and level, God, God, energy, God.
Wonderful. Thank you.
It will seem as though he is vanishing.
Mm-hmm.
However, he will always be there. And we will rejoin him
Mm-hmm.
within God. And this is ultimately what all souls wish for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I will
Night.
come back to that question about the ascension a little later. But now Kristin already received this message that Archangel Michael has always been with her in every lifetime. Is that correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I
What's their connection? How did that start?
I asked him to be with me in each lifetime. He is like or similar to a brother to me.
Mm-hmm.
We exchange our energy into one another, back and forth. to help one
Wonderful.
another,
Mm-hmm.
build strength, courage, and knowledge to support one another.
Mm-hmm.
He says primarily to support me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hearing we are one
Mm-hmm.
in this exchange of energy.
Beautiful. So tell me, Remembrance, is your being connected to any particular archangel?
Archangel Michael.
Mm-hmm. Do you have his spark, or are you an aspect of Archangel Michael?
No, we exchange our energy
Mm-hmm.
in order to help each other vibrationally,
Mm-hmm.
primarily for me.
So does Archangel Michael exchanges his energy with many people?
No,
Mm-hmm. So Kristin is very special on this planet now.
he is saying yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, dear one, yes,
Wonderful.
she is very dear to me, as I am to her.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Now, Remembrance, we realized that Kristin had a lifetime with her mother many times, but this lifetime when she died overdosed, she had very bad relation with her mother, and we released that energy, that pain from that lifetime. Can you please tell her something about her mother in this lifetime and their relation? Do they have agreement?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
agreement, contract was made.
And what do they have to do to fulfill that contract?
They have fulfilled this contract.
Wonderful.
Pat needed help in raising her vibrational frequency,
Mm-hmm.
and Kristin helped to fulfill that.
Mm-hmm.
And Pat helped to show Kristin the right way, the righteous path, and the wrong path. The way, the righteous path, meaning the do's and the don'ts and the morals and values needed to walk a righteous path, although she didn't always
Mm-hmm.
follow this path. She was brought up with that embedded within her, and she knows this path now. She walks this path now,
Mm-hmm.
for the most part.
So that contract is fulfilled.
Yes.
Wonderful. I would like to ask you now about her ex-boyfriend, that is her soulmate. What is the purpose of that relation, and will he come back, and why, if so?
He was meant to help her through a difficult time in life, in which he did the best that he knew how in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
He showed her what a higher vibrational soulmate connection could be like.
Mm-hmm.
The difference between loving another and being in love with another. Meaning, no matter what is said and done, you love them unconditionally.
Mm-hmm.
He is returning. He is returning approximately around the age of Kristin being 55 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And this reunion is needed in order to help him with his spiritual growth and evolution for his soul.
Mm-hmm.
And Kristin they will both need the support of one another. This will be a high vibrational union at this juncture.
Wonderful. Now, Remembrance, I would like for you to scan Kristin's body and tell me if you find anything that doesn't belong there, any kind of strange energy or something like that.
No strange energy.
Mm-hmm.
Diet will change further in the near future
Mm-hmm.
and maintain and hold throughout the remainder of this lifetime.
Wonderful. So she's absolutely clean and clear.
Yes.
That's wonderful. Okay, so now, Remembrance, I would like you to speak more about the ascension and about the returning of the Christ consciousness and Kristin's role in this. Could you please explain us how is this going to affect humanity, this planet, and what will be the perception of humanity when this occurs?
It is my pleasure to be able to speak about this
Mm-hmm.
with you.
Wonderful.
The golden age is upon us. It is near. He is returning.
Mm-hmm. Is Kristin overwhelmed with this emotion? Mm-hmm. You can tell her that she doesn't have to feel this emotion if it's too strong. She can be just an observer.
Yes.
Although this is a beautiful emotion.
He is coming.
Mm-hmm. Is that going to happen? Mm-hmm.
Many will bask in the glow, the vibrational frequency of his energy and in his presence. This is the greatest gift that Earth and its inhabitants could receive.
Mm-hmm.
And I will be here to help him when he returns fully. I love him and he loves me, eternally, forevermore, beyond all description.
Mm-hmm. Can you please tell us, is this returning of the Christ consciousness related to the prophecy about second coming of Jesus?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
but not in the religious way. For these words, when relayed originally, were not meant in the way in which were interpreted by others and changed frequently over time.
Mm-hmm.
This
Could
is
you
the
tell
second
us?
time
Mm-hmm.
his return to help each of us here,
Mm-hmm.
including the earth herself.
Mm-hmm. Could you tell us who was the one that changed those scriptures, those words that Jesus
Men,
was spreading?
mankind,
Why did they
those,
do that?
those in a power-hungry position,
Mm-hmm.
wishing to seek control of the masses.
Mm-hmm.
The secret, the secret, the secret. They were aware of the law of attraction
Mm-hmm.
and the secret,
Mm-hmm.
and the masses were not aware.
And what was the secret?
The law of attraction.
Mm-hmm.
My higher self is showing me that video material called The Secret.
Mm-hmm.
The knowledge and the knowing that your thoughts create your reality, and you can use propaganda and words as tools in order to control the masses as well.
Mm-hmm.
This will all come to light more and more so over time.
Mm-hmm. So tell me, Remembrance, were those men who fabricated those scriptures influenced by dark energies
Yes,
outside of this world? Yes.
yes.
Mm-hmm. What kind of beings were doing that? Who was influencing men?
Their own ego,
Mm-hmm.
um, selfishness, greed, control,
Mm-hmm.
power, and other ET beings having fun and running amok on the earth plane.
Mm-hmm. Who were those beings, those ETs?
The reptilians,
The reptilians. Mm-hmm.
the reptilians,
Mm-hmm. Are they still on this planet?
yes.
Mm-hmm. Are they going to leave when Jesus comes back?
They know he's coming.
Mm-hmm.
They know their days are numbered.
Are they scared?
No, more cautious.
Mm-hmm.
They just know their time is up.
Mm-hmm.
They know that the time is near.
Mm-hmm.
Among others who are here
Mm-hmm.
within the earth and on the Earth's back, and attached to the inhabitants here living on Earth. There will be a mass cleansing of low vibrational energy from the Earth plane, from the Earth herself and the inhabitants here upon her back.
So there are beings inside of our planet also that are negative?
She's showing me they are on the Earth plane, and their vibrational frequency is emitted from them as low vibrational, and it is entrenched into the Earth, affecting the Earth, and the Earth has had enough.
Could you tell me something about how lost souls affect humanity? Are they working for those dark forces? Are they aware of this battle between light and dark?
Most are not aware. Most are lost, confused, and transfigured into a different being. Some are that lost, but Jesus will help them find their way back to the light. Jesus and Jesus' angels and the light workers here working on the Earth.
So tell me.
The light workers will help the masses soon to awaken alongside Jesus and his angels and the archangels and all of the angels and all of the high vibrational ETs here. This is beautiful.
So are all souls and beings going to be saved eventually? And
yes.
So no one will be left behind.
That's correct.
In a dark place.
This is correct.
Wonderful.
The dark will have the choice to be transmuted back into the light or leave. And even when they leave, they will be pursued and collected and given a choice.
Is it possible for a soul to be destroyed?
Reconfigured.
So it's basically the same with emotions. You can transmute emotions, and you can transmute and transform the soul into something more positive.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Is that in any way painful for that soul that's being transformed?
They resist at first. However, once they come back to their natural way of being, their state of being, who they are, a high vibrational being of light and love, they see clearly, remember who they are, who they truly are. They are lost and then they are found. And see clearly again.
That's wonderful. Now, can you please tell me, is the famous veil between fourth and fifth dimension, is that correct presumption?
Yes.
Now I would like you to speak about fourth dimension and what are we going to experience when we ascend into fourth dimension, and what will happen to those who don't ascend.
Some souls are not ready to ascend, and that is all right. That is okay. They will have the choice to leave early, ending this lifetime here upon the earth plane.
Mm-hmm.
Those who choose to stay will experience a bumpy path ahead, for they will continue to manifest low vibrational thinking and thoughts, which will be manifested at a much faster pace as the energy picks up and vibrates at a higher vibrational frequency here upon the earth plane.
Mm-hmm.
So in the future, you will see chaos, which will be those in the 3D not understanding what is transpiring, not ready to ascend, but not ready to leave. And this is where the archangels will come in, and many others to help manage the chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Then there will be those who will begin ascending from the 3D into the fourth dimensional frequency and ascending.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful.
And there's a mass awakening coming.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are those who have already begun this process of ascension and are already well along their path.
Mm-hmm.
The path of ascension is the path. It is the path.
Mm-hmm.
It is the only path.
Is this ascension into fourth dimension going to be like a global experience or individual?
Individual.
Individual. Mm-hmm. And what about in fourth dimension when the time comes to ascend into fifth dimension? Is that going to be also individual or global?
The mass consciousness will have shifted together in a more high vibrational direction, which will pick up and gain momentum. And this will be, again, individual, however, easier as the mass consciousness here upon the earth plane all begin moving in this direction.
Mm-hmm. So tell me.
It will be the beginning of paradise on earth.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. So the new Earth, is she in fifth dimension?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. How many people have ascended into fifth dimension? How many humans are there on fifth dimensional planet Earth?
Not many.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just keep hearing not many.
Mm-hmm.
They're all waiting for us, though. They're waiting.
Mm-hmm.
They know we're coming.
Mm-hmm. And how many people are going to ascend into fourth dimension during this lifetime?
Billions.
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 Mm-hmm.
Approximately 2 billion
2 billion. Mm-hmm.
or more. 2
Mm-hmm.
billion plus.
Mm-hmm.
Or just over. Yes.
So when those people ascend into fourth dimension, will they remember those people who stayed in three-dimensional world reality?
They will, but it will not be essential to think about them in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
They know that they will see them on the other side, and they will be more interested in reveling in the high vibrational frequency in which they reside in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
That will be that will be their dominant priority. How
Mm-hmm.
they feel in that moment. Staying in the moment rather than thinking about the past or the present.
Mm-hmm. And does this coincide with the returning of the Christ consciousness? Is there going to be some global ascension process during that period?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes. For the remainder of this one's lifetime, Kristin's lifetime,
Mm-hmm.
and onward. Jesus will be here for a while.
Mm-hmm. Now tell me about Jesus and his returning. There are different uh, presumptions about that. Some people say he will be in the body that he already had 2000 years ago. Some say that he will come in a different body. Some say he will not have body. Then some people say we will experience Pleiadians coming in a physical. What would you say about this returning of the Christ consciousness?
Depending on where an individual is vibrationally and how they are vibrating at a higher vibrational frequency or a lower vibrational frequency will determine what they experience and what they see. The veil will be more dissipated for those who are higher vibrational,
Mm-hmm.
and those are the ones who will be experiencing that which is unseen by those in the lower vibrational frequency or lower vibrational realm,
Mm-hmm.
where the veil is up.
Mm-hmm. Is there a time when everyone will be able to see Pleiadians in their bodies on this planet?
Some in this lifetime, yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Many others will begin seeing more UFOs
Mm-hmm.
in this lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
Visitations and dreams,
Mm-hmm.
visitations that are fleeting,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
So, mhm.
visitations that occur uh, in one's home, but not in solid form
Mhm.
for those who are,
So people who were more higher vibrational and who ascended to fourth dimension, they will be able to see extraterrestrials with their bodies.
yes,
Mhm. Is Kristin going to have an encounter with Pleiadians in their bodies during this lifetime?
yes,
Is it going to happen soon?
in 1 to 2 years
In 1 to 2 years? Wonderful. Mhm.
when she is ready.
Mhm.
Vibrationally ready.
Mhm. And what about other beings, other ETs? Can you tell us about other beings that are helping us during this process of ascension?
They are always there. Those of whom may not be able to experience them in a physical form can still communicate with them by sensing their vibrational frequency around them and speaking with them telepathically. They will be here for some time to come, helping and assisting the Christ consciousness and the angels and the archangels.
Wonderful. Do you have any special message for light workers?
Yes. You do not need to try to become a light worker. You simply have to say or ask, yes, I would like to be a light worker. Step forward. And to step forward and help others. In that simple asking, requesting, that is all that is needed. Everything else will unfold easily and effortlessly for you in the divine timing and way in which it is meant to. Everything will go as it is meant to, in the flow. The path of least resistance. Please be in a place of allowing. In a place of allowing. Allow anything and everything to be in the moment.
Thank you. Thank you, Remembrance, for this beautiful conversation today.
She's sending you her love. She says she's proud of you.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you. Welcome back.
That was wild.
Yeah.
What a ride that was.
How do you feel?
I feel like I cried my eyes out.
Do you remember everything?
Yep.
Perfectly
clear. Crystal clear.
Wonderful. Amazing.
Like this energy, I think, of my higher self pooled or something in between here, all the way through the two halves of my brain, and just really in the back of my head. Just calmly there. And now it's dissipated.
So, what was this experience for you? Were you aware all the time?
Yep. Totally aware. Totally aware. And then I was getting a little tired, and then at the last 25, 30 minutes, you were talking about Jesus' return and the ascension and everything, and then my energy just went woohoo, and totally was back online.
Yeah.
Wanted to talk about that. Oh man, and the emotion.
Yeah.
The energy. I'm like, I'm going to bawl my eyes out on camera now. And you're like, I think I see some emotion. And I'm like, yeah, oh yeah. Holy moly.
Well, you can always choose to be just an observer there and not experience those emotions. Yeah.
Just before you were talking my higher self into taking me out of being in it, she was trying to talk me out of being in it. She was trying to say you don't need to, and then you were saying that, and then I kind of went neutral again. Holy.
Wow.
It was intense. Going to heaven was intense.
Oh yeah.
The Christ consciousness was intense. I really feel like this is definitely something we have to post online. That was wild.
Yeah, sure.